What is up, my little Deinos? Vepsis here, your coach of the Helsinki Hydreigons, and we are here for the UBL Season 3 transaction video where we are gonna be going through my change that I made after the draft was finished, where I dropped the Mungus for SilverBeanie, and thankfully, besides the Mungus freeing up me 100 points to spend, I had extra 20 points to spend on as well after the draft was finished. Because I didn't spend as much points to the cap in itself, just to make sure that I can afford to pick up SilverBeanie once it's gonna go undrafted, which thankfully it did, so I was able to make this change immediately after the draft. So the main attractions and main motives for me to make this change were that I wanted to add myself better natural speed and better speed tiers on my team. I don't still have the perfect speed tiers per se for my liking, but it's a lot more manageable for myself, a lot easier for me to accept what they are, with now having SilverBeanie around that or to that 100 base speed tier mark between Gliscor and Mega Gallade, and I feel like that was very huge for me to add, making sure that I have a mon that will demand respect throughout the prep, having to make sure that they have to speed creep this thing on prep and not having like a Technically I have a speed tier gap between Gliscor and Mega Gallade, but I feel like on paper and on prep when opponents prepare, they have to respect offensive Moltres, but then it goes all the way to Mega Gallade to be the next one, which is gonna be something that my opponents have to respect as a offensive threat with a potential plus speed nature in itself. So that left a big speed tier gap because Gliscor doesn't really provide it as I would like to. So SilverBeanie kind of fulfilled that role a lot better going forward, because it can be very good offensively, it can be very good defensively, it can be supportive. It's just a phenomenal pixie legendary move with the base 100 stats across the board as we know about it. It has great move both utility wise, which enables it to be more of a utility move in dual screens, Thunder Wave, Trick Room, U-turn, Stealth Rocks. There are a lot of things that this thing has access to which can help your other members of your team and executing a certain game plan that you might have having throughout the battle in itself with your prep. And because it has setup options in Calm Mind, Nasty Blood and Sword Dance, it enables it to function as an offensive threat. Besides its offensive move pool that it has, and besides its dual stab being Grass and Psychic, which is a relatively good dual stab to have going forward for myself, and it's going to be a Grass type that I'm gonna be able to utilize for the third time in Draft League format, and the second 2 times that I've been able to use in the past. It's been relatively good or really good mod for me to use throughout those seasons. So I always felt like SilverBeanie was something that I slept on too long as a Grass type in Draft League format and didn't respect it enough. And I feel like after using it, it definitely gained my respect, and I feel like a lot of people should be respecting it more as well than they tend to. Mainly because people worry about its weaknesses, which I'm gonna be touching on very soon, that how I feel like we can support them and enable SilverBeanie to be successful. But basically, the speed tier gap, the move pool that it provides and the versatility, and also the fact that it can provide me a way to beat bulky water types was huge, because my team, depending on which bulky water type I faced, especially if it's a pure bulky water type or not, I had certain struggles potentially going forward to deal with them, either breaking through them or switching into them. And I feel like SilverBeanie is one of the rare Grass types that can actually fulfill that role for yourself in both ways and help you dealing with them and breaking through them, because bulky water types, as we know, they are one of the hardest typings to take down in Draft League format for sure. It's the same thing in competitive play as well, because they only have 2 weaknesses and they are relatively easy to pass on with your rest of the team in itself. But that is gonna be something that I really feel like SilverBeanie was really key for me to be able to deal with those ground type hits. Now having a Grass type that we can utilize to at least to resist those hits, unlike a Mungus wasn't able to do because it was a part poison type as well, and I didn't have to really keep Amogus around just having the poison typing, because I already had 2 poison types as it is, both being also crowded in itself in Drogalaxy and Alola Max, so I'm not gonna be missing out on or losing out Amogus poison typing. It's actually better for me to keep up on it, so I can add the natural resist to the crown in itself. And being pop psychic type means that by taking away one of the mons that was weak to psychic, I add a mon in that actually can resist them, and it's gonna be better synergy in that regard for me as well going forward. But regards to the weaknesses that I feel like a lot of people are hesitant by drafting it, and definitely are something that you need to cover on a Celebi whenever you're drafting it to feel like it's gonna be as successful as it can be. Mainly it's gonna be the ×4 weakness to bug, and I feel like to that weakness I have relatively good ways to deal with it. Especially Moltres and Celebi have phenomenal synergy together, regards to the fact that Moltres has naturally the typing of fire and flying, giving it the ×4 resistance to bug, but at the same time it also has the flame body ability, which is phenomenal cause now it deters my opponents to spam U-turn, especially because I have my Celebi on my roster, which they could potentially having to face. So this gives me a way to make sure my opponent have to think twice when they are clicking U-turn, so they don't potentially get punished for it with the flame body ability, which can be great for me to going forward throughout the battle in itself. And I love the fact that I do still have, besides Moltres, I have other things that can resist bug type attacks whenever need to in a pinch. And I have things like Alomomola still with the regenerator, and be able to run Rocky Helmet really successfully in battles to make sure that I have another ways to deal with U-turn spam versus me, or any other the weaknesses that Celebi has, like Dark and Ghost I have covered well with Bob, for example, or Lolamark. We can cover its flying weakness with Diancie. We can cover Celebi's fire and ice weakness with Alomomola, for example, and Moltres and Scizor can patch one of those as well if necessary. So I feel like in a lot of ways we can support Celebi's weaknesses properly, and it's gonna fulfill a role that is really essential for us to have going forward. Both what it can do typing wise, speed tier wise, what it provides us, and the overall utility and versatility that it provides us going forward. I feel like something like Healing Wish and the dual screens and Trick Room and Thunder Wave, those things can be very nice for us to have going forward to help our other members of our team if necessary, or just run it offensively if necessary. So that is gonna be the change that I made on my team. Let me know in the comment section below how you feel about the change. Is there something that you would like to see me still changing on my draft that you still don't like about it, and why? And stay tuned for tomorrow's team builder for the week 2 battle versus OPJellicent, and the battle itself is gonna be going on that following day on the Friday in itself. So stay tuned for that. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you're new so you won't be missing out the action, and thank you all yet again for watching this video, and until next time, I'm gonna be seeing you guys later.